This is an Apex Studio presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Badaway. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Idiot on Internet, or IOI. Normally, I am the almost professional amateur comic Tim Morgan. But right now, I'm just another idiot on the Internet with an opinion. So here we are, finally, at long last, IOI number 2, Aliens Are Jerks. We've gotten the practice 1.5 IOIs out of the way. We're warmed up, we've stretched. I don't think we're going to pull any ass muscles this time, so let's get right into it. IOI number 2, Aliens Are Jerks. I guess I should press the pause button on the camera now. Aliens have been portrayed in popular culture in a wide range of ways, different shapes and different sizes. But in motivation, they tend to boil down to either hostile or friendly-ish. Many experts have said that if aliens capable of traveling to our backwater planet called Earth arrived here, that they may be friendly. They'd be friendly because a species that has achieved faster than light travel, or at least interstellar travel by other means, artificial wormholes, some form of hyperdrive, or harnessing the energy of just one Chuck Norris punch, a civilization like that would also have achieved a very enlightened ethical state. While I and people very much smarter than me hope that will someday soon be the case, I and others, again smarter than me, are not convinced that would indeed be the case. Here's a few alleged alien encounter instances that, if true, would mean aliens are jerks. Massive flying saucer riding interstellar pricks, in fact. Let's start things off with the Battle of Los Angeles. No, not the okay-ish movie, but the real-life incident. The Battle of Los Angeles, also known as the Great Los Angeles Air Raid, is the rumored enemy attack and subsequent anti-aircraft artillery barrage, which took place from late February 24th to early February 25th, 1942, over Los Angeles, California. The incident occurred less than 3 months after the United States finally entered World War II. Initially, the target of the aerial barrage was thought to be an attacking force from Japan, but speaking at a press conference shortly afterwards, Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox called the incident a false alarm. Newspapers of the time published a number of reports and speculations of a cover-up. Some contemporary ufologists and conspiracy theorists have suggested the targets were extraterrestrial spacecraft. When documenting the incident in 1949, the United States Coast Artillery Association identified a meteorological balloon sent up at 1 a.m. that started all the shooting, and concluded that once the firing started, imagination created all kinds of targets in the sky, and everyone joined in. Just like your better riots. Okay, so jumping out of the Wikipedia page for a second, and forgive me if I'm looking away from the camera here and there, because I don't have a teleprompter, so I'm reading some notes off my screen. We're not going to debate whether or not this was a weather balloon or an actual alien spacecraft. For the purposes of this video, and we're using this example kind of as an example for all sightings of UFOs in the air, we're going to assume this was actually a UFO sighting over Los Angeles. But that may not be good enough for some of you, so I will address the skeptics just a little bit here. Okay, so the people who think this was a weather balloon, as the photo showed, everybody was doing their job that night. The crews manning the searchlights did their job. They are trained. Back then, they were trained to search the skies with their beams. Once one of them touched on a craft, the rest, it would light up the belly, the rest of the beams would then all focus on the craft, allowing all the anti-aircraft gunners to focus their fire onto that craft. And some of these cases, they'd have tracer fire, they'd be able to see their own shells bursting, so they'd be able to correct their fire. So the skeptics of the Battle of Los Angeles would have you believe either 1940s era weather balloons could shrug off 1,440 odd shells, or everybody with all that assistance just missed. And by the way, no evidence of a bullet or shell fragment ridden balloon carcass was ever found. From my research, I didn't find anybody on the skeptic side, on the balloon argument side, saying, well, crews saw the thing pop. They saw it fall out of the sky. So there's no evidence that the balloon was ever hit. 1,440 shells, everybody firing at it. Nope. They just all missed. Unfortunately, there were casualties. The Battle of Los Angeles did in fact claim 6 lives. 3 civilians were killed directly by friendly fire, while 3 others suffered heart attacks during the hour-long siege. A number of buildings were also damaged by the Americans' own anti-aircraft guns. So let's assume this incident, along with the roughly 3 to 5% of all UFO sightings, are unidentified flying objects from another world. Okay? Cool. Let's move on. Cattle humiliation. No, wait, that's something else. Cattle mutilation. And no, I'm not going to show a series of mutilated cow pictures. If you want to get your bloody bovine on, well, Google's sitting there waiting for you. So here's some pictures of some live cows. Since the time that reports of animal mutilations began, various explanations have been offered, ranging from natural decomposition and normal predation to cults and secretive governmental and military agencies to a range of unscientific speculations, including legendary predators like the chupacabra. And, of course, what we're here to talk about tonight, extraterrestrials. Cattle mutilations have been the subject of 2 independent federal investigations in the United States. And no, neither of them said aliens did it. Okay, so just like with the Battle of Los Angeles, we're not going to say that every single instance of cattle mutilation, unexplained cattle mutilation, is going to be attributed to aliens. Just the stuff that cannot be explained by any known scientific methods. We're going to toss that at the aliens. Okay? Let's go on to our next example. Crop circles. Sexually explicit and vulgar crop circles. WTF, aliens? Like, okay, maybe that was just me one time in the field on my family property, but anyways, we're not going to talk about crop circles tonight, because really, they're not that damaging to humanity. Unless you're a wheat farmer, but really, fuck those guys. Wait, no, don't fuck those guys. I like my cereal and breads and, wheat-based things. Let's just move on to alien abductions. Okay, putting aside the Wikipedia definition of alien abduction, basically, thousands of people since at least the 1960s have reported being forcefully borrowed by aliens. The most famous example of these abductions arguably is the Barney and Betty Hill incident. Barney and Betty Hill were an American couple who were allegedly abducted by extraterrestrials in a rural portion of New Hampshire from September 19th to September 20th, 1961. The incident came to be called the Hill Abduction, or the Zeta Reticuli Incident, as that is the name of the system in space the aliens claim to be from. Because the couple stated they had been kidnapped for a short time by a UFO, it was the first widely publicized report of alien abduction, adapted into the best-selling 1966 book The Interrupted Journey and the 1975 television movie The UFO Incident. Okay, so basically an alien ship chased them, eventually caught them, and forcefully took them from their car and brought them onto the spacecraft, where experiments were conducted on both of them. Thousands of other people have since, from around the world, have since reported somewhat similar incidences in the decades since. So let's roll all this together and take a stab at profiling the aliens that tend to visit Earth, interact with humans or animals in the different close encounter examples I have given. We'll see what kind of social, moral, or ethical conclusion we can come up with regarding the aliens. Now, of course, we're taking this from a Western human point of view of what is more socially, morally, and ethically acceptable. The hope here, the big bloody hope here, is that basic concepts of right and wrong, of what is considered abusing another sentient species, and what's considered to be helping another sentient species, even if we are galactic simpletons as far as they're concerned. Hopefully these basic concepts of right and wrong are universal. But before we psychoanalyze the aliens, get them on the couch and charge them a ludicrous amount of money per hour to talk about their feelings, let's quickly recap what we've talked about thus far. The Battle of Los Angeles. What was it essentially? Well, it was a flyover of one of our cities during an obvious time of war between different human factions. This flyover caused panic, which led to human deaths on the ground, as well as friendly fire incidents, which led to humans dying, as our weapons were directed at this alleged alien craft. A craft which appears to have been impervious to our weapons and simply just slowly flew or floated away down the coast after it had a real good looky-loo at our little light show. Then we spoke about cattle mutilations. Well, the PETA people should be pissed off. Not to mention the farmers who lost valuable livestock and possibly became laughingstocks of their peers for being caught up in an alien encounter that many would assume to be more crazy than credible. It also says something about how aliens feel about lower life forms, whether they're us or cows. I don't think too much. Finally, we come to human abductions. Betty and Barney Hill as the key example, although again, there are thousands of other similar abduction incidents where people had been forcibly taken and experimented on. And in none of the reported incidents have the aliens ever been said to have at least given the abductees dinner afterwards. Not cool, aliens. Not cool. Conclusion. And as no surprise as it is the title of this video, aliens are jerks. Sorry, there is no M. Night Shyamalan twist ending here. Aliens are fucking jerks. If the aliens who visit us are the ones largely responsible for the more destructive and terrifying incidents I have given here, we should all be very, very worried. Now, my theory is that if even a tiny portion of documented UFO sightings, and especially abductions, are true, then real-life aliens who have been visiting Earth for who knows how long, these aliens do not have humanity's best interest in mind, nor are they very enlightened. In fact, socially, they may be just as bad or even worse than us modern humans. Human history is filled with atrocities. Practically any time a more technologically advanced human culture has made first contact with another human culture, especially one that is less technologically advanced or whose military is weaker, things usually have not gone well for the less advanced or less powerful culture. Just look at Canada and the United States when it comes to our softwood lumber deal. Us Canadians are getting boned. But anyways. When it comes to aliens who presumably are thousands or millions of years more advanced than us lowly little humans, aliens with the ability to travel across the galaxy, who have probably seen other cultures go down the same horrible roads as us humans, and aliens who themselves may have gone on a few of these atrocity trips themselves during their own progression to becoming a galaxy-spanning civilization, well, they should know better. We are talking about an alien race or alien races visiting Earth and screwing with us. How can they not know what they are doing is cruel and dangerous by even the most simplest definition of what's right and what's wrong when dealing with species that are not as advanced as you? The answer is they know. They know how it would look if this knowledge was widely and officially released to the human public. And they don't care. Whatever their moral or ethical code is, that code is A-OK with abducting members of a pre-faster-than-light travel capable species, and if Randy Quaid's critics are right, occasionally abusing them sexually. They are totally fine with flyovers of at least one of our cities during a time of war, provoking what became for 6 humans a deadly military response. And they're cool with graphically gutting the odd cow, then leaving the mysterious mess for us to clean up and some poor farmer to try and explain. Aliens. I'm no scientist, but here's a little bit of lab advice. To minimize contamination of us test subjects, next time, keep the fucking cow parts. A missing cow is better than a messed up cow. Now, don't get me wrong. I hope that one day soon, news is released that life that has evolved completely, separately, independently of Earth exists. I hope that news is released within my lifetime. I just hope that if that life is intelligent and spacefaring, that it's also friendly. I hope that for my kids' sake, and I hope that for all of humanity's sake. And that concludes IOI number 2, Aliens Are Jerks. Thank you for enduring yet another one of these video blog-ish type things. And also, happy anniversary to me, or at least to APAC. I guess I'm APAC, but whatever. Happy anniversary. Because 14 years ago today, as of the day that this video is being released, APAC, the hour-long radio comedy talk show, first debuted on CKLU 96.7 FM, the Laurentian University radio station in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. Wow. 14 years later, and I've still yet to make 1 red cent off of APAC content. Is that dedication to my craft? Is that desperation? You decide. Let me know in the comments below. If you have any other ideas or thoughts, ideas for other IOI segments, or any of the other ideas for any of the other content that you see on this channel, please post those in the comments, either here or in other APAC videos, or on the APAC Facebook group page. Links to that in the video description below. And yeah, that's basically it, folks. It's time for me, Tim Morgan, the almost professional amateur comic and idiot on internet, to sign off by saying bye.
This has been a presentation from Tim Morgan's APAC Studio. For more almost professional amateur comic studio content, visit the APAC YouTube channel. Search APAC 2002. That's APAC 2002 on YouTube.